Okay, time for video number 2. Got my laptop with me today. So this is the AuthorTube Newbie tag 2.0, an opportunity for us to introduce ourselves to the world of AuthorTube. Question 1. What's your book's pitch? If you have multiple works, choose your favourite. So this is a horror novel called Jack's Game, which follows Billy Rain, a 14-year-old boy. It's a coming-of-age horror. I'm reading from the laptop. In 1992, a group of games developers who go by the name WAP, WWAP, creates a game called Dr. Hammer, which becomes the most successful game of the 90s. 10 years later, the children of WAP find an old games console and a game titled Shellytown RPG in the front garden of the abandoned Matteson house. They realise the game is a kind of map and go out at night to dig. What they find under the cold earth is a decaying human hand. An evil entity is unleashed. Jack Matteson, an unknown fifth member of WAP, is back from the dead and out to take revenge on the kids of those who wronged him. I live directly next door to a airport, so you might hear some aeroplanes flying over. Sorry that they're loud. If you were a book, how would you pitch yourself? Andrew Chapman is the story of a man having an existential crisis while trying to raise a 14-year-old daughter. His goal is to get published or sell a screenplay so that he can drag his family out of the squalor in which he has placed them. What do you usually write? Novels, novellas, screenplays, horror, comedy, kids' books. What is something you'll never write? Nothing is off the table. Everything has potential. I can't predict. Maybe in 50 years' time, when I'm a filthy old man, I might decide to take up erotic fiction writing. It's unlikely, but who knows what would become of this mind. What made you want to start writing? Let's just wait for this aeroplane to go by. What made you want to start writing? Two things. The first book I published was called Tripping the Night Fantastic. And the reason I wrote that book was because I was in bookshops trying to find a particular book that I had in my mind that I wanted to read, and I realised that the book didn't exist. In order to read it, I would have to write it myself. So that's where Tripping the Night Fantastic came from. That is just what I was in the mood for reading at the time, and I couldn't find it, so I wrote it. But the reason I started writing, which was long before I wrote that book, I remember being about 19, and I'd read a book that was aimed for children called, it was like Darren Shan, The Vampire's Assistant, or something like that. I was reading more grown-up books. I think the book I read before that was American Psycho, but, you know, I still read kids' books now. I could read... Oh, is this going to be weird for the green screen? Here we have my bookshelf under here. There's War and Peace, Infinite Jest, next to Kurt Vonnegut and Douglas Adams and P.G. Wodehouse, and children's books and grown-up books and literary fiction and genre fiction. I'll read anything, always have done. So I was reading this Darren Shan book. And I remember I was about 4 chapters in, and I realised that I didn't realise that I was reading words. I was like, so the book was playing like a movie in my mind, and I sort of got to the end of the chapter, and I realised that I couldn't remember actually reading any words. It was so vivid, and I just wanted to know how the trick was done. How can you write words in such a way that it makes a constant image in your mind, an unbroken image? Not all books do that. A lot of books, you're dragged back into the words often. A book that can just create a clear, constant moving image with texture and sound and weather and real characters with their own voices. I wanted to learn how to do that trick, and so that's what I've been trying to figure out for the last 20 years. So that's why I started writing. What is your publishing path? I want to get Shellytown RPG traditionally published. Right now I don't even have an agent, so that could take a while. I've been submitting to agents. I've had 3 rejections, 1 with a personal note. I've had 1 request for a full manuscript. But the majority of the people I've submitted to I just haven't heard back from. It's just the traditional publishing game is such a slow moving thing. It's just getting the agent part takes years, it seems. But everybody who's read it, beta readers and other people have enjoyed it, and I think it's got a good chance. Who knows? Maybe one day it will end up being self-published. I'll give up. But I've got a series of kids' books that I've just finished illustrating the first one. I've got a cover. I've actually got... I had some proof copies here, but they got rained on, so they've been destroyed. But maybe here's a picture of the cover for the first book. It's going to be coming out at the end of next January. And here's a picture of one of the illustrations. So I've been doing that. So I've got next year I'm going to be self-publishing, hopefully, 4 children's books that I'm writing with my daughter. Yes. The first being that one, which was Dinosaurs, Jetpacks and Rockstars. What content do you bring to the AuthorTube table? Whatever it is, it won't be the norm. What's your biggest writing struggle? Focusing on one project at a time. I tend to have about 10 new ideas for novels or stories or screenplays or whatever a week, and they're all so shiny and they all want to be played with, and I have to just say no. But I mean, right now I've got the beginning of the next novel started. I'm halfway through 2 novellas. I'm halfway through a movie screenplay. When I should have been focusing on writing last month, I wrote a radio sitcom. At the end of last year, I wrote a TV sitcom. I need to focus on one project at a time. I will get more things finished. But that is my main problem. What's your best writing skill? I can write upside down. And I can spell the word hippopotamonstrosesquipedaliophobia blindfolded. That word, if you don't know, is the phobia of long words. Psychiatrists have a sense of humour. If you're new to AuthorTube, what is your biggest AuthorTube question? Nothing springs to mind, but if you have a question for me, leave it in the comments and I will answer it in a future video. Are you looking for new channels to follow, betas, CPs, or other types of writer buddies? If so, tell us who you're looking for and connect with them in the comments. What does CP stand for? CP. Cantankerous pineapple? Probably not. I don't know what it means. I love connecting with authors. I love them. I like their like-mindedness. Just say hello in the comments. Leave links to your channels. I will come and I will watch your videos. In the future, I will need beta readers. So if you like horror or kids books, make yourself known to me. What are you most excited for during this new, fresh start on AuthorTube? Unstoppable worldwide domination. That is all from me. I have my hat and I have my coffee. I'm leaving.